Hey RATBAGGERS, it's Jade. Today doing a little just talk through about late game skills and kind of the stuff that you can earn, make and craft, which really utilises what you're going to be getting once you get your skills up there. Obviously you can check on all your skills, so none of this should really be a big mystery about what eventually you can unlock, but what do they really offer you as a reward? Some are definitely better than others, and some of these skills you will just gain pretty quickly and easily if you're crafting or gardening. In fact, there's 3 skills that you really want to pay attention to in that regard, but you may have to make some choices about how you activate them, or at least be willing to reset and make sure you put your points back into the right skills. There is a limit to your crafting and basically how many points you can put in, and that limit is 25 points. So in crafting, you've got 2 sides here that effectively you can go ahead and unlock maybe a lot of these, but you won't be able to unlock all of them. And the most important here is the jewelry crafter. Chance to gain a polished version of any item crafted at the jewelry workbench. So this works for both of the crafting benches where you can craft rings and necklaces, meaning you can make good use out of early game items once more because they're going to add a bonus ability. And this isn't something that obvious. You're going to have to either go in creative mode and find the polished versions to take a look at what they offer, or simply go ahead and craft a bunch and see what they do. So once you keep getting your crafting skill up, then obviously you're going to be able to get more chance of getting the polished version. If you get 5 points in that, then I think it is a 60% chance of getting it. It might take a good few goes though if your skill isn't up high enough, but if you've got lots and lots of resources, there's no reason why you shouldn't give it a shot. So what does it actually do and give? A basic copper cross necklace only has 4% critical hit chance and is a level 2 item. A polished version jumps it up to level 13. And while it only gives 2 extra critical hit chance, it also gives 18% critical hit damage. So that is pretty high and pretty good compared to a lot of other critical hit stuff. Not the best, but again, something you can go ahead and maybe upgrade and get even better. Iron Chunk Necklace has 12 armor, that increases to 20, but you gain additional 38 max health. You'll gain 2 health pretty much for every upgrade. You can upgrade it another 6 times. So yeah, it'll be max health 50. And the armor should be around 42. So don't ever use the upgrade bench on accessories that you can get polished versions of from the crafting benches. Unless of course you're swimming in resources. For magic users particularly, the crystal necklace does 8% magic and 8.3 minion damage. Well, that jumps up to 19 and 20.1%. And roughly you get 1 and maybe 0.3 or 0.4 upgrade. So again, another 6 times though, you may be looking at around 26, maybe 27% extra magic damage and around 28% extra minion damage. So I don't want to rattle off all the upgrade scores, you kind of get the idea, but we'll carry on listing all the extra benefits that you get. There was no extra ones with this, but you do get a much better score. The gold crystal ring, 17.3 physical range damage. That only goes up a couple percent, up to 19.9. But you do then gain additional 3.9% range attack speed. Tulip ring, free glow and 0.7 mana every second. You gain additional mana every second, although I don't think that increases that much, only like a 0.1% every time. But you do gain additional magic damage, and of course I have gone and upgraded this to level 19. But yeah, again you get the idea. Swift ring, 6.9 movement speed, not much of an increase with the polished version, but you do get 3.6 melee attack speed. Maybe not so worth it for the Swift ring, just for that tiny percentage. Certainly if you're looking to take on the final boss and you need to go as fast as you can, probably going to want to upgrade and maybe get more movement speed before you have a chance of maybe getting a polished version. It just all depends on if you've unlocked the polished skills. And we're looking at the advanced accessory station. The boat speed for the coral amulet is 11%. Basic, that increases to 17% and a 12% chance for higher rarity fish to buy it. Scarlet Chunk Necklace, 19 armor, 26 armor, 9% dodge chance. Octarine Necklace, 5.6 melee and range attack speed, goes up a couple percent, 7.5, but you also get an additional 5.5 movement speed. Magnetic Ring, 108% range pickup, that increases to 125. But you also get 24 explosive damage. And Golden Spike Ring, 5% critical hit chance, 11% full damage, only goes up by 1% for the critical hit chance, but you do gain additional 22 critical hit damage and 18 full damage instead of 11. And the Octarine Ring, 6% melee and range attack speed, that actually only goes up a couple fractions, but you do get 7% mining speed on it.
And don't forget, you can go ahead and dismantle all of the rings that don't end up being polished, and you'll get some of your resources back. Never sell them, it's always better to sell food as you get more coins for bulk food and it's easier. Always dismantle gear.
So you get the idea. That's the real big benefit, obviously, and should be the skill that I would go for. But you are going to miss out on crafting items at the anvil, and repairing items cost 5% less materials and then 6% armor while at low health. Because obviously you can choose to either go down the chance not to lose durability on equipment when taking damage, or chance not to lose ability when using tools and weapons. And equally you can get the gain extra items when crafting rails, wires, conveyor belts, or more potions at the distillery. It's why it's also worth crafting in bulk. If you've got enough materials to make a ton of potions, go ahead and do it, don't make just 5. Spend the 200 coins if you need to reset your points so that you can get the alchemist skill, craft and bulk up all of them potions. And then when you're making a big project with rails or you're doing the automation, then obviously switch over, reset, and get the industry specialist. So what about the other skills? Well, these have been spoken about to death, but just in case you've missed, absolutely got to keep gardening. Getting expert gardener gives you a chance that your plants will become golden. I do believe it's up to 15%. The alternatives to that are pretty much getting more damage against poison targets. Golden plants are just going to be so much better in terms of the stats they give you. And again, when you combine them and make different foods, you actually get bonus stats and attributes too. Like I said, I've gone over this in so many guides, and by now I feel like every tutorial or video you've seen mentioning stuff with skills or actual tips surely has mentioned this. As soon as you're able to, you basically want to just keep growing your plants and get that skill up to get as many golden ones as possible. And that still applies to cooking meals. This is why you never just go and sell all your surplus plants that you'll never use. Go ahead and make meals out of them. So again, you can get the Master Chef perk where you get additional food gain from cooking to be rare. So you get extra buffs, they're usually doubled or increased massively in terms of the stats. And if they come out as epic, then they'll increase the stats even more. It is definitely worth making sure you fish a lot, even if you don't particularly like it. It's super easy to do now. Fish often gives some of the best stats in terms of health, and of course other benefits for getting rare ones, like being able to withstand flames if you fish in lava and get the right ones. And you need to do a lot of fishing to get certain pieces of armor or even some of the oracle cards. But if you get the well trained aim, you also get percentage of fishing added as range damage. So particularly if you're going for a range build, spend some time fishing and get extra ability and get extra damage. These are skills I've long often ignored because I just didn't like the old fishing method, but now fishing's much easier. It's definitely something I'm going to spend some time doing. I'm not going to go on too much about some of the combat skills because you have got your own combat style. You might be ranged, you might be melee, you might be mixing it up, but obviously they've all got some really decent endgame perks. I just wanted to focus more on the crafting of the accessories to get OP gear. With the new skills, I've still been struggling to level up, even though I spent most of my playthrough as an actual mage and warlock, but you can see the benefits. If you've got like 5 or 6 minions and they all despawn and you've got this maxed out, that's going to give you a ton of health. And magic maybe doesn't look as sexy with some of the skills, but if you've got a real critical pit build, then Arcane Frenzy is pretty good as that adds the magic damage for a short duration on critical hit. Don't forget magic is pretty much tied to range, so you'll always get range damage unless you're using the special magic scimitar. So that's pretty much it. Obviously, if you find lots of different items and gear, you may never need the accessories that you get from the benches, but don't forget to go and check on them once you get that polish skill. And try not to upgrade any of the base accessories that you've already crafted unless they are the polished versions, unless you've got loads of resources.